Welcome, everyone. As we go through today, of course, I told you you're all on mute, but we have several prompts throughout the presentation, and we made it in bold pink. So every time that we're on a slide like that, please take a look at the prompt and participate in the chat. And then we are going to break it out into different breakout groups, and we're going to have you all go through some prompts with one another to get to know the community. And I am also, just let me get my computer figured out right here. All right, wonderful. So we are all here because you don't have to build your tech company alone, and we are here to learn, build, and grow together. So welcome. We are Tech AF, and we are launching our founder community today. So thank you so much for attending. Ashley and I wanted to give a little welcome to you all and introduce ourselves. And sometimes the standard introduction is a little boring, so we shook it up a little bit. Thank you, Alyssa. It's a great idea. So each of us have 3 truths and 1 lie. So we want you all to guess which one of these is a lie for both myself and Ashley. So go into the chat, put like K and then whatever number you think, and A and whatever number you think, or write our names out, whatever you want to do, and start sharing what you all think is our lies. And then we'll go and say that. And then I can't see the chat, so either Ashley or Alyssa, if you two could help kind of shout some of those out, I would love to hear what some people are saying.
Will do. Why don't you read out loud yours for anybody who's on their phone and can't see their screen as well?
Awesome. Okay, that's a good idea. Point 1, I've raised a total of 55 million. Point 2, my first acquisition happened after I turned 30. Point 3, I have coached hundreds of early stage founders. And point 4, I have been a contestant on The Price is Right. Ashley?
I have helped raise more than $120 million in the startup world and a nonprofit. I am currently building a financial technology solution for underestimated founders. I have coached 100 plus board members and executives how to be better leaders and run better businesses. And I have been chased by a bear. So in the chat, we have a lot of people are guessing, Kristen, that number 2 for you is a lie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
As Nina Taylor says, she thinks it may have happened in your 20s.
Oh. What about
Fiction.
for you?
Shauna says fiction. And then everyone thinks that my bear is a lie. Except for Kendra, who says she's originally from Colorado, so she thinks it's entirely plausible.
Ashley's in Colorado too.
Yep, I put that in the chat.
Nina says, unless that bear was on cocaine.
If you have not seen Cocaine Bear and you have a really outrageous sense of humor, I highly recommend it.
It's a hilarious one. All right, let's see if you were right. Man, we should have made this harder. So yes, my first acquisition did happen before I turned 30. I thought maybe you all would guess that I wasn't a contestant on The Price is Right, but it absolutely was. And Ashley's never been chased by a bear.
Not yet.
All right, Ashley, do you want to kick us off on what brings us all here?
Yeah. So hi, I'm Ashley. I know a lot of you know Kristen, and you probably know me through social media or seen me at events. We have a ton of our Academy students and graduates, as well as our beta membership in the room. So hello to all of you. We're really excited to share our big purpose with everyone, which is to bring together women and non-binary tech founders in a safe, supportive community to create money-making businesses and products customers love so that we can all live life on our own terms. So in the chat, what does living life on your own terms mean to you in a few words?
Yeah, and also any emojis or show of hands if this statement is resonating with you. You're like, yes, this is me all day long.
Yeah. Show me the money.
We thought it was really important for us to include women making money in our big purpose. At the end of the day, it just gives us so much flexibility and freedom. And I think we all feel the same way.
Retiring in Jamaica. Shannon says AF. Kendra says room for creative exploration and room for rest.
Oh, room
Love
for
this.
rest.
We're like
So
rest.
beautiful. If you haven't got it in yet, you can still keep going. I'm going to move us along though today, and we're going to talk a little bit about our founder community members. And so we put together a few statements just to help identify who should be here, who should be part of Tech AF. So we are women and non-binary persons in the early stages of building a tech company. We are solving a gap we have identified in the market, an inefficiency in our industry, or a problem we are passionate about. And we are working through early ideation, customer discovery, prototyping, speaking with developers, building our MVP or V2 or V3, because we iterate all the time, generating revenue, again, a big one, and seeking seed or Series A funding or any kind of non-traditional funding, which we are also a huge fan of. So in the chat, please share where you are in your journey and don't be shy. How's that?
Kristen, I'm just going to read some of these off too, because they're so good. Moving to Spain and waking up without an alarm every day is Nick's. We got Sed's rich auntie vibe.
Yes, of course we do.
Carrie's isn't going to surprise you. Being able to live in a different country for a couple months at a time every year, not worrying about money, autonomy and creativity, living in a field she's passionate about from Erin, security and impact. Amen.
Yes.
Oh, it's like customer discovery. We have people in customer discovery, MVP beta, customer discovery, very early stage, MVP launch, raising seed round. That's awesome. Is it Mika? Mika? Where are you? There's so many people in the room. I have to keep scrolling. MVP launch, currently bootstrapped. MVP
Yes.
post revenue. Looks like we're all in similar spots.
The very early stage, what I want to just point out is we love you, early stage. This is the place for you. Yes. All right. Thank you for sharing. All right, Ashley, you want to give us a little special sauce?
I'm like, oh no, I'm really enjoying being in charge of the chat here. So the special sauce of the community is that with all the people that we talked to, all the customers discovery we did, all of the conversations we've had in over 2 years, a theme that kept coming up and took us a little while to like really hear and absorb was that everybody was sick of doing everything alone. And at the same time, you don't want to rush into getting a co-founder because it's probably a more serious decision than who you choose as a life partner. So what we wanted to create was a community of co-founders so that everything doesn't rely on your shoulders alone and you can turn to one another with your expertise, your zone of genius, the resources you already have, the relationships you've built, the vendors that you trust. And so really at the center of this community is you. And it really won't work and can't work without engaged members to ask questions, enrich events, celebrate one another, provide mentorship, connect each other to one another's networks, hold space for those hard days. Like we cry and we laugh and we have really hard days and we struggle with our partners or families not understanding what we're doing and sometimes really feeling like we're not going to pay the bills, and holding space for that for one another and role modeling that vulnerability is central to what we're doing here. Showing up regularly, giving as much as you take, being willing to receive, which is probably even the harder part for a lot of us. Setting goals and sharing your progress so we can center accountability at the center of everything we do. Every Monday, we want to see people setting goals. Anytime you're in a group coaching call, we're going to ask you, what's your deadline? Looking at Sed and Mackenzie, who have another week before their deadlines from last week. And we really want to celebrate one another. And sometimes that's a really small thing that other people cannot understand. Like Kristen and I were like, like legitimately called. We got our first sponsor for our partial scholarships and we're like screaming and jumping up and down. And it's like $400 in the door. And like, who can understand that? Who has like, I don't know, a secure job that pays them regularly every other week? This is exciting stuff. And so we just want to create that space where we can turn to one another and cry and laugh and fail and celebrate. And it all depends on you.
So beautiful. The circle of awesomeness. I mean, we're all here because I think we all really internally want to seek transformation. I know every single woman, most of you personally, we are all looking to be better individuals, to show up better for our friends, our family, anyone in our lives. And I think a lot of us really share a lot of the common, goals. It's really ensuring that you're reaching a product market fit. It's answering the question, will my customers love my product? Establishing a roadmap to revenue. Again, it's about making money. The only way that you're going to succeed is by focusing on revenue and focusing on solving a real problem that people will pay for. And so ensuring that we're stepping towards that, holding one another accountable is just so powerful. Making sure that our businesses are scalable and sustainable. I mean, that is at the heart of a lot of things that women do. We want to build up our networks. We don't want to do this alone. Gaining confidence that we belong in tech, I think that's huge. There's so many, and I'll say this of Atlanta, I think those of us that are in Atlanta are so lucky because there's so many times that I walk into a room or there's an event really curated for women, and there are over 100 badass women in that room, and then sometimes even our male allies. And it's just not like that in every other community. And so being able to bring that to others, I think that's something that we all crave, is just walking into a space and recognizing that we see people that look like us and the ones that we feel safe with. And so that confidence is really big. Sticking to goal setting and goal getting, right? A lot of times when we talk to our founders, it's really, I don't even know what I should be doing. And I'm the only one here and I have no one else to hold myself accountable to. So setting those SMART goals and really, sticking to that is really big. Making money across a diverse, different revenue streams and building a team around us who we trust, I think was really big too. And a lot of this came from just the Founder Academy in general and the beta that we've been running. And I've seen so much transformation too, and we have some to share. So we have been testing this community for the past 3 months with a select group of really amazing women. Many of them are here tonight. And here are some really cool things that we've done. In the meantime, in the chat, what your prompt is if all these things were happening for you, what would that mean for your business? And so Tamara with My Panda developed a 90-day strategy to increase revenue. Said with the Stage Wing launched a crowdfunding campaign. She was sitting on it literally for months. We were in, I think it was just one of our get shit done sessions, which is like co-working virtually. And she was like, yeah, I kind of have this thing I've been sitting on. And we were all like, go and do it and post it. So that was really exciting to celebrate that. Mackenzie set strategic goals with our SMART Goals workshop. She completed 70 plus customer discovery interviews, which I know many of you have done customer discovery and know how taxing that can be. We also reviewed 3 developer quotes with her. So she's very active and attended a lot of the sessions, got a lot out of it. And Peg and Christy of Safe Neighbor connected with Visa's head of inclusive partnerships. And she had lunch with her today. And she said, Ashley and I know, we don't know details yet. She said it was a really great connection. And that was Dolores that came from our fireside chat. And so these are just a few things that the beta members were able to accomplish just over 3 months. And it really, it's giving me goosebumps right now, but it's so amazing what women can accomplish when we do things together and we're supporting one another. So do we have any responses yet on if these things were happening for you, what it would mean?
No, but what the things that you're talking about are having a roadmap to revenue and from the last slide, right? Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Oh, actually,
Cool.
Shauna says freedom. Pavika said success in my startup.
Yes, all of that. Building money making businesses so we can enjoy freedom, right? This is both through time, location, financial choices, having a community around us that we can rely on, making an impact on others through our business and solving real pain points, and really stepping into the next level of ourselves. And so if you were getting all the support you need, if you had these things lined up, what could your life look and feel like from the last or in the next 3 to 5 years? And we've actually asked this question, Ashley. Do you remember any of the responses from customer discovery?
Well, I'm always going to remember rich auntie vibes because that's what I'm going for too. Sovereignty, having the ability to just make your own decisions, be where you want to be, hop on a plane and go anywhere.
Yeah, paying off a mortgage was on there. Having financial freedom, we talked about. Just
Donna
having
says
flexibility.
being able to help others with their journey. Nina says making impactful change, creating opportunities for others. Tamara says invest in other women.
Yes. I love it. Amazing. Well, Ashley, can you tell us why this matters?
I'm like, oh, you changed the slide. When women, because when women make money, it matters. We change systems rather than leaving our communities and moving into quote better communities. We often invest in our communities, invest in the local government there, and we use our influence to change the way that things are done. We invest in local artists and farms and high quality food for our families. And we could just create a better world for future generations. And it's not to say that other people don't do that, but women just do it at a much higher rate.
Amazing. And just a side note, I couldn't find any image of women throwing money up in the air. So I cobbled this together to show us throwing up $100 bills. And I was really proud of it. So I had to say something. Shout out to Canva being one of the best tools for a non-designer. If you know, you know.
Harry says, my life would be totally transformed and I could be closer to my legacy plans and way less distracted by what I have to do for money now. That really resonates for me. Kendra says, this is all fabulous. Isolation definitely derails my ability to focus and kills enthusiasm. So this would help me keep momentum and make better decisions more easily, ultimately leading to more impact. Oh my God. Yeah. I think we can all relate to feeling like you just get heads down and you just totally self-isolate, and it can feel really hard to one, make decisions one after the other after another, and two, to just stay connected to like that exciting energy of being a creator. We have hearts and flames, key and siren. There's no emoji for empowering. It's like being part of a powerful army.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love all these. So amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. Keep sharing too, because we love this. We just need to make more money. It just really matters. It makes a difference. All right. So where did all my little pictures go? How did we get here? We're going to do a little story time on little Kristen. But before I do, just show of hands or emojis on who hopes to one day receive funding from angel investors or venture capitalists. Ashley, tell me what's going on. Oh, I see some hands. You can see on the corner of my screen. Yes. Well,
Yes.
10 years ago, I was in that position. So a little background, and I have bullet points here because if you know me, you know I can get really wrapped into the details. So I'm saying very precise today. But yeah, 10 years ago, I drained my 401k to work full-time on my business, running it out of my condo. It was a lease that was way too expensive, and I couldn't get out of it. I felt like I was squeaking by, literally crying in my closet some days. What felt like the next thing I knew, I was sitting at a conference table in my fintech company's office with my co-founder, and not one, but two angel investors that were talking about forming our board of directors. It was a beautiful day in San Diego, and I was feeling really good. I mean, by everything that you can see from outside appearances, I had made it at that point. We were getting funding to take our business, which was a consulting business, and really turn it into a technology business, which was a really big turning point for me. But around that table, the two investors looked at me and my co-founder dead in the eye and told us that only one of us could sit on the board. And they had already decided it was going to be my co-founder, a white male, with no other advantages over me than his gender. It's not like he had been in finance or tech. We were really coming at solving the problem together and figuring it out. It just didn't really make sense. And just a side note too, if you ever hear that, both founders can absolutely be on the board. It's a decision made by the company. And it was definitely something I could have pushed back on, but I just didn't know. Didn't know that at the time. I had no network to turn to. I had no previous knowledge. I had no female mentors in my life and no confidence to be able to stand up against the decision. I really felt, I honestly felt lucky to be there. And it was really, crushing, but I forged ahead. I had a smile on my face. I was building tech. I was pushing this business forward. Again, it looked like I was doing it. And when I look back now, I really realized that single decision that was made around that table with those men changed everything about that journey. From that point on, I was always left outside of closed doors of the boardroom. I was literally left out of when decisions were being made with my co-founder, investors, partners. It was always something that was reiterated to me. So having to trust, anything that's getting told back to me, the story that's being told. So fast forward a year later, we're closing out our largest funding round. I'm working at my dead center desk in the office. My co-founder walks out of the board meeting straight up to me. He looks at me with a huge smile and says, "I just got you a raise. You're welcome." Now, it sounds like, great. We just got fundraising. I got a raise. I can, not just eat ramen all the time. But I was a little smarter than that. And I kind of wanted to know what was going on with what everyone was getting. So I had access to the financial projections. I went in there and I realized he'd negotiated raises for both of us. Only his was 30% higher than mine. Again, he didn't have an MBA, never founded a tech company, and wasn't even the CEO. There was no reason for him to make more than me, except that he knew how to play the game. And he looked exactly like all the players. And again, he was in the room. So I went to my executive board member and ally. I had thought, he told me the board decision had been made and there was nothing that could be done. I knew I needed an executive coach, and we had one in-house. So I put a proposal to have him be assigned to me. And the board denied it. Luckily, seeing what was happening, he took me on pro bono. So not long after that, the board decided to switch up roles, recognizing that the CEO they had hired wasn't up to snuff, really. He wasn't performing, and they gave him my role as COO because, and I quote directly, his gray hair, meaning his experience. And I was told to find a new role. Now was able to eventually make the decision that would eventually lead us here. I became the chief product officer. I went on to raise 55 million, and our company was acquired by Lending Point in Atlanta. I moved with them, eventually being pushed out by the acquirers, a story for another day. After a sabbatical, I joined Georgia Tech's ATDC, which is an incubator here locally, and coached hundreds of other underestimated founders over the next several years. I tell you this story because it was experiences like this one, building a company and then losing control and all autonomy over my own career, that I never want to see you go through. We started the Founder Academy as the answer to that, and I'll let Ashley speak to it.
We were all talking about you crying, and now I'm crying remembering all of that.
Yeah, Ashley was by my side the entire time as well.
I have to give a shout out to Nina, who immediately says, "What's his at?" And I was like, "This is it." And she was like, "Right at dawn." I was saying earlier when we were scripting this out, I was like, I would still smash his car with a baseball bat if I could get on him.
Got your raise.
Thank you for sharing that, Kristen. That was extremely vulnerable. And I think it really touched everyone. Does anyone we chose that story because unfortunately there's a lot to choose from. Does anybody have any of those fears that oh yeah, I want to scale, but I'm afraid of what will happen if I succeed? And if you don't have them at the forefront of your mind, do you think that maybe sometimes they're just in your subconscious? Lauren says, absolutely. Lakita liked your cape.
That was my idea. It was a hit at conferences.
Her company was named Lone Hero, so that's why she had her cape.
I still have the cape.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just emotional. So Kendra said she was in Silicon Valley for over a decade and saw a version of this happen over and over again. She's so sorry you experienced this. She definitely has those fears, which is partially why she's focused on non-traditional. Yep. funding and bootstrapping, but I also know that can slow growth. Carrie says she's been through some stuff like that, and it's why I'm so protective about not having a co-founder. Amen.
Mhm.
Lakita is also growing slowly, but she's in her pre-seed and building out her MVP with Oracle, NASDAQ, Plaid in Apex Clearinghouse. Holy crap.
That's amazing.
Okay. So Kristen moved to Georgia, to recap, with the acquisition, and they essentially just were sucking up all of her knowledge because she was the COO and then she became the chief product officer. She kind of just knew the ins and out of the product. So when she relocated, they were just trying to get all of that information out of her head. Of course, there are many positive stories for acquisition, so this isn't to scare you. It was just her personal experience. And after that, she really took an inventory of what it was that she wanted to do and decided that she wanted to give back to other underestimated founders, became first an entrepreneur in residence, and then led the fintech vertical at Georgia Tech's ATDC. She actually took that role on right as 2020 started, and so had to make a bunch of the curriculum go online to a virtual format. And through that, realized that she was acting as kind of a reluctant gatekeeper, keeping a lot of women and underestimated founders essentially out of her program, not being able to introduce them to certain investors because they just didn't have the traction, aka the customers, product, and revenue that they needed. So that's when she decided to launch the Tech AF Founder Academy. So the first iteration of the Academy, which is our 6-month signature program. And Erin was in that very first pilot program.
Yeah.
I don't know if Alice is here, but then brought me on as her co-founder because, quite frankly, just realized she didn't want to do it alone. And it wasn't about all co-founders are bad, but it's about how do you have that trust. And another day we'll go into more about me, but I come from the social impact background, community building background, and fundraising. So it was a really nice fit. And I was Kristen's maid of honor. So we have a deep level of trust. We've been friends since we were like 20 and now we're 38. So almost half our lives. And it's been a really transformative and wonderful experience where we have built up conflict resolution. We really call each other on one another's crap, and we push each other to be better, lean into when things are scared, tell each other to book therapy appointments, and just hold one another accountable. And even recognizing that we have been working on the academy and really perfecting that curriculum, totally got stuck in that like complexity trap of everything needs to be perfect and this is how people will move through it, and it's a super rigorous curriculum. Shout out to
While we were telling other people not to do that.
Shout out to everyone who does this program, because it's like 5 to 10 hours a week. You have weekly coaching calls, fireside chats, peer coaching. It's super rigorous and they just crush it. We're like, you have to do 30 to 100 customer surveys and 30 interviews before we'll let you graduate to the next level. And so
I see Lauren smiling.
yeah, and Peg, kudos to you who take that on. And then we just kept talking, especially Kristen, who's in the Atlanta ecosystem. And she was talking to Tamara and she was talking to Rhiannon, and you know, I would come to town and we talked to Monica, and people were just like wanting to be part of this like women's community, even in Atlanta, which has a really strong ecosystem and a really strong support system for women. And I was in a membership and we were just like, well, what if we tried a membership? Like maybe we could reach people who live in other communities that don't have such a strong ecosystem, or like where women aren't showing up. You know, we're in talks with Nashville, we're talks with Birmingham, and in Nashville you would think lots of people are there, like there has to be a lot of women, but it turns out like women founders don't even show up at founder events because they feel so elbowed out. And so we were like, well, let's try this online community, and we gathered a few people to join us, and it went really well. And they did 1,000 interviews with us to talk about pricing and what they wanted and what they needed and what was working and what wasn't working. And so that has been our last 2 years. We've held retreats. We threw our first failure party. We've seen our community grow. We've seen people graduate and build products and get revenue. And so it's just been really cool. And we're really lucky to have all the people in our lives who have supported us, our early adopters, and we're looking forward to the next chapter with you all.
Yes. And before we go any further, we are due to share some beta member appreciation, because our beta members were with us through switching platforms and changing schedules and taking all these different surveys and spending hours on the phone with us. And we are so appreciative. At the beginning of our beta, we gave them some incentives to participate. As Ashley said earlier, a community only works with the members participating and being there and showing up and interacting. And so we wanted to make sure that we rewarded those behaviors. And so we had a couple of prizes lined up, and we are going to share who got them. So the first prize for participation, and it was based on a bunch of different activities, and we tallied them. Thank you, Alyssa. And this is kind of how it panned out. So the first prize is 2 30-minute coaching calls with me. The second is 2 months of the Tech AF community membership for free. And the third is the same shirt I'm wearing right now. It's our signature Tech AF shirt. This is what a founder looks like in pink, because we're women and love it. Shout out Barbie. So drum roll. Da, 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 da. Thank you so much, Said. We are going to be seeing you on coaching. So I will send you a link to my Calendly, and we will get that on the calendar. I can't wait to work through some of the things that you got going on. Mackenzie is presenting today for this program that she was participating in. So she couldn't be here today, but she sent me a nice email, and I let her know that she gets 2 months of the community for free. So she will be moving in full time. And then for our This Is What a Founder Looks Like t-shirt, Rhiannon, Tamara, and Carrie, and you're all local here, so I will figure out how to meet up with you and hand you your shirts and get your sizes. So thank you so much. We appreciate you all so much. We appreciate our Academy members. We appreciate our allies, our supporters, our friends, and all of our new friends who are here with us today too. So we just have so much gratitude, and I've been crying pretty much all day, but I'm really holding it down right now, which is great. So Ashley, I'm going to have you walk through our culture a little bit. So like a big thing about communities is like, what is it going to be like? What's the culture? What's the vibe? And so we wanted to let you in a little bit on that.
I know, I feel very emotional as well. So upon entering the Tech AF community, these aren't exactly our agreements, but we ask you to sign an agreement that you'll just be there for each other, have each other's back, and protect one another's confidentiality. So first and foremost, to be part of the Tech AF founder community, we're always growing. We learn from the experts and mentors who take time out of their schedules to sit down with us. And we're not scared to ask them questions, to give us feedback, to meet us for lunch. We trust our peers have something to teach us. You know, we have people in this room who are ex-Googlers and have done UX design and built some crazy products, and people at Amazon, and people who have marketing backgrounds, and people who have vast networks across the world. And you know, like storytellers and fundraisers and social media experts, and really turning to one another and recognizing that there's a lot of wealth of information in this room, and there's like no reason not to ask. And we even have give take days where you just ask for what you need and give what you can. Recognize that we all have blind spots and opportunities to expand. So none of us is an expert in everything, and we're willing to be called out and integrate the feedback that people give us as individuals and as leaders. Personal development is a central part to what we do. And we really believe that if you want to change systems, if you want to change the world, then you cannot be exactly like everyone who came before you. And you have to push yourself to be better, hold more, act more gracefully, act more graciously, and be more courageous than those who came before you. So that's really essential, and everything is really tied together into that. We also protect one another. The safe part of our container is that we honor one another's creative and intellectual property, as well as the vulnerabilities that we share. We do this by holding space, validating before offering unsolicited advice, and committing to confidentiality. So sometimes people just need to be heard. And also recognizing that we have intersectional identities in here and that some people's lived experiences are vastly different than ours, and holding space for that to know that like, even if you don't know, you can be empathetic and take care of one another. We show up for one another and ourselves. You're not just signing up and paying a monthly fee. Even when it's challenging, even when it's hard, even when you have excuses, we attend events, we respond to people's requests for advice or help, we ask questions we're afraid to ask, and we strive to reach the goals we set. And then we reach back, which everyone has already said is a goal of theirs. We mentor, we connect, and we provide resources to those who come behind us. This me too? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're so organized.
Okay, so peek inside the community. We're getting love in the chat. Thank you, Zara. Thank you, Claudia. Okay. So we have monthly themes, and we weren't going to tell you, and we won't tell you until the month usually starts, but today we decided to start. So every month we'll have a theme, and it's our goal to drive your business forward somehow within that theme. Next month is revenue driver. And so our speakers I'll give you one sneak peek into that. So one of our speakers is a director of sales. She's had this huge, wonderful career, and she's going to come and teach you how to sell your products, speak to your users, and do so in a way that feels integrous. Even for those of you who are like already squirming in your seat, even hearing the word sale, and we're going to get you to be able to have confidence and speak to your user in a way that's authentic to you. And then we have a diverse calendar. We mentioned the fireside chat, self-care, and member happy hours. We also have group hot seat coaching. And this was one of Sed's suggestions, that when people do not ask a question, we just call on you and ask you what your obstacle is, what's the hardest thing you're facing, and then we coach you through it. You know, Kristen has over 10 years of experience in coaching and mentoring and being in the trenches herself. And so her advice is so killer. And if she doesn't know the answer, she connects you to the right person.
And I'm honest. I will never lie.
Yeah.
I'll ask you first if it's really blunt advice, but there's no bullshit here. That's a promise.
But with love.
It is always with love and to help you grow.
And I have loads of experience with fundraising and marketing and storytelling and grant writing. So the other really cool thing is the peer coaching that comes through. And then the daily, so our fireside chat's just a sidebar. We've had Visa, the head of inclusive partnerships. We've had funders, venture capitalists. We're having Anastasia from Techstars next month to talk about how Techstars works with founders, because we're just like one piece of the puzzle, right? And also like, what does it even mean when they're asking you for equity? We've had founders who have built really incredible cultures and teaching you how to like really strategically grow your team in a way that is actually realizing your dreams. Because most of us in this room, I promise, are building a company because you came from some sort of toxic ass environment and you are determined to not repeat those mistakes. But how do you do that? You need advice and mentorship, right? So those are some of the things that we touch on, and we touch on the things that you ask for. So the more engaged you are with us, the more you're being honest about where you are, the more we can connect you with the resources and speakers. And then we have daily interaction. We connect with one another over prompts, whether that's what was your very first concert, so far our favorite. What CRM are you using? What's your favorite tool for customer discovery? Stuff like that. And then we come together to make connections, coach one another, engage, attend events, offer support, share skill sets. Oh yeah, and participate in founder pods. I see why we didn't have the next slide.
Do you want me to just go right through it?
Well, I want you to go to the next slide just so I can talk to the founder pods.
Okay.
So we already spoke to those things. I was like so insistent about adding this. So we are doing founder pods, which our beta members were testing We will have to get feedback on that because
I see Carrie laughing.
it took a little longer to pull together. But the founder pods are small, intimate groups that you'll be assigned to randomly for 4 months at a time to drive accountability. So when you sign up for Tech AF founder community, there's a 4-month initial commitment because of these founder pods. We want to put everyone together to drive a goal per quarter. And then after that 4 months, you can go to monthly if that's what you want, but you won't. And then we have challenges. So in addition to the monthly challenges, there's going to be challenges designed to push you and your business forward. And there's a really exciting challenge for next month as well.
But we're not telling you. So we do want you all to get to know one another, but we do want to make this kind of quick. So we're going to throw you into breakout rooms. I think we're going to do it completely randomly. So just choose one of these prompts and go around the group to answer it. So we've got what brought you here today. You can do how would your 10-year-old self react to you starting a company right now? What would be your dream brand business partnership and why? Or outside of work, what inspires you or fulfills you? Do we have everyone back? I don't know how to tell. Yes, everyone's saying yes means that your group members are accounted for. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for participating. I hope you all had really great conversations. I know in my group we chose the one of what would you tell your 10-year-old self? And we had all completely different answers, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that. All right. So we would love you all to become a founding member. And we promised everyone who is RSVPing today that we would be offering a special incentive for anyone who showed up and celebrated our launch party. And what we are doing there is extending $99 a month for lifetime. So what that means is we will never increase prices on you, no matter what we end up charging. We have done, as Ashley said, it's extensive customer research and discovery on pricing, and we're pretty low in the comparison of what the community provides. And so 99 is probably not going to be there forever. But if you lock it in before, I think Monday at 12, we're capping it at 100. It just means that you are locked into that price forever, no matter what. And yeah. And after that, you'll still be able to get 99 for a little limited time, but it won't be lifetime. So we will do pricing increases eventually, but that's the special is you lock that in forever. We also are doing partial scholarships. So as we are all early stage founders, we're bootstrapping. Some of us just really need a little extra help. And so we do have the option to apply for a partial scholarship. And how we're funding that is we have put out some external communication to get some sponsors, which we have some in the door, which we are so thankful for. But it really helps to supplement the monthly costs for some of our founders. And additionally, we have some additional packages. So one of the things that we keep hearing is that when founders get to a certain point, they just really want to give back and want to help other founders and aren't really sure how to do that. So we put together a couple of extra packages where you're paying a little bit more, but any access to the monthly fee is going towards that founder fund. So Ashley and I have been teasing for a while that we are also putting together some solutions to really solve the problem of helping women get funded early on. A lot of us can't get any kind of traditional funding once we have a product customers and 6 figures and more in revenue. And so this is our start to that. We put together a founder fund, really pulled through our sponsors and other founders who are looking to give back. So we do have 3 different packages available. And again, Ashley had mentioned we do have a 4-month minimum commitment, and that is because of the founder pods. They are every quarter. And so we do want to make sure that when we're putting you all together, it's going to be able to move those goals forward quarterly. We also have an ambassador program. So again, our whole community is run by the members. Again, you are all essential. And so we want all of your biz besties in here as well, working together to really build some badass companies together. So if you refer 2 members, you get a t-shirt and a member spotlight feature. If you refer 10 members, you get 2 free coaching sessions and our members only sweatshirt. And then the big one, gold, if you refer 25 members, you get our annual retreat for free, which is huge. And we hope to do them internationally once we grow big enough. Ashley and I held one here in Atlanta last October, which was really fun. And she didn't go too much into her background, but she's been doing retreats for about 10 plus years, and it was a blast. Let's see. So next steps. Wow, we're like right here at the edge. I didn't think we were going to make it. Again, I'm sorry I cut you guys all off from each other in the group sessions, but we'll open up. I'll unmute you all following this. But next steps, we would love if you joined us as a founding member. And if you're here as a support and ally, and if you want to be a founding member as well, tell your friends. Again, the community is really for us all and for us to move forward. So our links are going to go in the comments. They'll be included in a follow-up email. And I'm gonna allow you all to unmute. We can open it up for questions. We can continue the conversation, and I don't know how to do this. So,
well, if anyone has any question, why don't we just start with raising your hand if anyone has a pressing question that you want to get.
Perfect. And you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay, perfect.
So, and if you don't have any questions and you're like, we already gave you an hour of our time, you do not have to stick around, but we are here for you and each other. All right. Oh, here we go. Pam, I think you can unmute yourself. If you can't, let me know. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Oh, I was giving a thumbs up saying, basically I enjoyed everything and loved everything you were saying. That's all.
Oh, thank you. I loved what she had to say about telling her 10-year-old self that she started a business.
Nick says, what if you don't have a business idea yet? It's a great question.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Come on in. We'd probably help you find one.
Mika asked if it's open to founders outside of Atlanta. Yeah, I feel like this is something, bye Peg. I feel like this is something that is kind of getting lost in translation, is that it's an online community where we will be having live events, but we want founders from everywhere to be part of it, especially in places that don't have a supportive ecosystem for underestimated founders.
Yeah, so absolutely you don't live in Atlanta.
Carrie says, are founding member perks only about the discount and price, or are there other perks to it? Oh, the founding member? Well, that's a great question. As of right now, it's just the discount.
And the label, I think, too. I mean, we're not going to be calling new members founding members forever. So we'll have like some different swag. I don't know. We'll make it special. We'll do something cool. Give you some kind of like cool profile picture template for Mighty Network, so everyone knows that you're a founding member and like super badass. I mean, we can get creative here.
Look at you, vanity plates.
What did you say? Some vanity plates? Tech AF bumper stickers.
Regular porch parties. Yeah, it's so funny because I feel like one thing that we have to remind everyone is that like we're also like eating our own dog food and doing customer discovery as we go and iterating as we go. And so it's like, oh, hey, wait a minute. We want to thank all the beta members for being part of everything before we launch this next thing. What should we do? And Erin's like, oh, let's have a party at my house. It's all being built. Denise says, congrats again. Great launch party. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, we'll follow up with the email. Lauren says, will you have a founders directory? Oh yeah, that's definitely part of, that's built into Mighty Networks. It tells you
and
exactly who people are.
The cool thing about that too is on Mighty Networks on the member list, you can click on near me. So as long as everyone has filled out their physical location on the profile, it'll show all the founders in your vicinity. And then it also, when you land on another member's profile, there's a button, and I don't remember what the button says, but it basically says what do we have in common? And then the AI will go through the two profiles and pull out conversation pieces or different things that you have in common with that specific founder in order to start conversations with one another. So that's a really cool AI feature. AI of the future. Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone want to say anything?
Bye, Christina. Thank you for coming.
I think I don't know, I just think this is exciting. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be like a part of, this incredible space that you're creating, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Shauna.
You made me cry today. Like
Yeah, you
real
made me
happy
cry too.
tears. It really touched me. It really did.